conversation. This is just for everybody. Okay, there's people here, thank God. All right, so there are, I don't know what we say, 30 maybe, 35 people here. It's amazing. Thank you for coming out. Very thankful. We're broadcasting this to everybody. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about me first. So, I've done bankruptcy most of my career. All right, I'm not a governmental attorney. I've been doing Second Amendment work as well most of my career. So for the past 20 years, some kind of a quirky Second Amendment issue pops up. I've usually been the guy that's handled that in southeastern Virginia. I do a lot of restoration of rights for people who are convicted felons and other people who've had their Second Amendment rights taken away. Been doing that my whole career. And so my Facebook page had until about 3 weeks ago, about 14,000 people that were connected to it. And we'd publish a video about bankruptcy or something like that. We'd get a few hundred hits, and it was great. That was fine. So about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I started blogging about, or Facebook videoing about the bills that are being proposed. And the numbers started ticking up. And obviously it has grown. It has gotten bigger and bigger. And today, right now, we have, in the past 7 days, 500,000 people that are connected to the page and 250,000 people that are engaging the page. So this is a small amount of people here, but there are people that will be on here watching this. So it is a big deal. There's 200 people right now watching what we're doing here right now. Okay, so when I did my video on Friday saying I was going to start this recall petition and publish that, there was about 200 people watching. That video has been watched over 100,000 times, okay, in 2 days. So people are watching, okay? And so the numbers here are small, but this is ground zero. This is where the battle is going to start in the recall of Senator Saslaw. So who saw the video I made this morning in the car? You guys all see that? Okay. So for those of you who didn't, please let me explain the theory here. So there's a process in Virginia called the judicial recall. And the way that it works is that if you're an elected official, the people in the district where this elected official live can be recalled when two things happen. The first one is that 10% of the voters of the district come together and say, we want to recall this person. The second thing that has to happen is there has to be cause. Okay, so we're not a recall state. We just can't garnish voters and demand a recall election. All right, so we have to have cause. Now, there's lots of causes in the statute. Most of them are for convictions of crimes. So if you get convicted of a felony, or if you do steal money or something like that, those are the convictions. But there's a provision of it that talks about misuse of the office. All right, and that's where my petition is going. Now, my position and allegations are this: that the Democrats won in early November. Shortly after that, Senator Saslaw, who is no rookie, he is a senior leader of the Virginia Senate, prepared a bill called Senate Bill 16. Now, I'm sure everybody here knows what Senate Bill 16 says, and you've looked at it. Senate Bill 16, very quickly and shortly, basically says that you are, if you have what would be determined to be a prohibited weapon after the effective date, that prohibited weapon would make you a felon. Now, usually those effective dates would start in July. All right. Now, these are weapons and guns that people bought legally and own legally in Virginia. The bill did not have any type of a grandfather clause, meaning that if you own a firearm today that the government declares to be a prohibited weapon, you had two choices. Choice one was to get rid of your gun. All right, so get it out of the state, sell it, get rid of it, modify it, turn it into something other than what it is. The second one is to surrender or forfeit it to the government. Okay, that's what Senate Bill 16 said. And Senate Bill 16 said that if you didn't do that by the due date, you were going to be a felon in Virginia. Now, when that happened, I started talking about that, and I'm not saying I'm taking all the credit for this, okay, but that's what happened. So then then organizers started forming these Second Amendment communities, okay, and they were scared that what was going to happen is that something like Senate Bill 16 was going to come down, and Senate Bill 16 would make a lot of people in Virginia felons. And I'm not talking about like 10 people. Hundreds of thousands of people in Virginia have these types of firearms, all right? So in a stroke of a pen, had Senate Bill 16 gone through, hundreds of thousands of people would either have had to have gotten rid of their firearms or taken the risk of felony prosecution, okay? So they start popping up, and they start getting declared. 85 of about 107 jurisdictions today have said that they're Second Amendment sanctuaries, okay? The reason for that, the people of Virginia have panicked. They're scared. They're scared that a bill like this is going to come down and they have no voice. There's no way to stop what the Democrats want to do. If the Democrats want to pass Senate Bill 16 as it is, there's no way to stop them. Now, when it passes, obviously there's a court challenge and that's all going to happen, but there's no way to stop them. So people go and they were formulating these groups, these sanctuaries, and 85 districts now have said we are some kind of a constitutional zone, meaning politically that they are concerned. Okay, they are concerned. That's where we are right now. Now, once these districts have now declared, Governor Northam, before the 85 have declared, Governor Northam, when asked, are you working on confiscation, said, my director of public service is looking into that, okay? Looking into confiscation, all right? So then the sanctuary cities pop up. So we have Senate Bill 16 talking about basically governmental confiscation, and then we have the governor with his own words saying he's directing a secretary of his government to look into how we could do legal confiscation in Virginia, okay? That's what happened. Then the sanctuary cities pop up all over the state. And I'm not just talking about out in Wise County and all of that, all right? Everywhere except for places like right here and Virginia Beach, unfortunately. But most places, Chesapeake included, the big places have said, no, we're going to have Second Amendment sanctuary zones. So then the governor comes out and says, oh, by the way, there's going to be a grandfather clause. We always meant to have that in there, but it's going to come with registration. Now, many people are very concerned about that, especially with his own comments that registration is a look of, hey, now we know your guns are, we'll give you registration this year, but now we can confiscate them next year. We know where they're going to be. By the way, 500 people watching this right now, okay? So we're here. There's now about 50 of us. It looks like there's 500 people on this right now on this feed. All right. So the governor says we have to have registration. And people are like, no, we do not want to have to register our legally purchased firearms to the government. Saslaw then says, oh, by the way, that makes sense. I think we should have registration. And I never intended on Senate Bill 16 ever becoming law. Okay? He says that. He says that after all of the 85 districts in Virginia say, no, we don't want this. He said, well, I never intended Senate Bill. He said Senate Bill 16 was never the intended major assault weapons bill. Okay? That's his words. That's quoted in the Virginia Mercury article. All right? I posted that on my Facebook. You can read it for yourself. These are his words. Okay. Now, instead of them saying, okay, we see what's happening here. Okay? We see that Virginia is rising up, and we're nervous about that. We're going to go back to the drawing board. Instead of them saying that, they say, they have the congressman 2 days ago say, we need to send in the National Guard. Okay? Congressman McEachin from Chesapeake. And that's why we're here. It is my allegation that Senator Saslaw has caused a public panic in Virginia, as evidenced by the 85 jurisdictions that have now come forward and said we have serious concerns. If I go into a movie theater and yell fire, I get in trouble for that. Okay? If Senator Saslaw had one or two motives here, his first motive was he didn't think there was going to be loudmouths like me talking about it, and this was going to go straight on through. Why would you prepare a bill that you didn't want to become law? Okay? Why would you do that? That makes absolutely no sense. But if that was his intention, that he had no intention of letting that bill go through, then he's just yelled fire in a room, and he has cost millions of dollars to the localities who've had to sit there until 11 and 12 o'clock at night. I've been to a lot of them, listening to people say how scared they are and the anxiety that he has caused to the people of the Commonwealth of Virginia. He has done that. 720 people watching now. Okay, for those of you, thank you for watching. Please share this video. So, this is not Congressman McEachin off the cuff in an interview saying, I think the governor should call in the National Guard if these localities don't follow through. This is Senator Salazar in his official capacity producing a bill that would criminalize a huge population of Virginia. And if that was not his intention, as he has now said, then he has yelled fire, and there has to be a consequence to that. That is a misuse of office. As a lawyer, when I file a lawsuit, I may sue you for $1 million, okay? And I'll probably settle for $100,000. That's what lawyers do. But you don't get to do that with people's rights. You don't get to tell people you're going to be a felon if you don't comply. That is absolutely wrong. That is absolutely a misuse of office. There are 2 cases in Virginia where judicial recalls have effectively happened. The first one involves a clerk in the West where she hired half of her staff who didn't support her during an election. That case got thrown out because she didn't get the signatures correctly. That's why we're going to talk about this in a minute. The second case deals with the guy in Norfolk who was the treasurer who just went to prison, federal prison, for stealing money and all of that. All right, so those are only 2 cases. There's no cases in Virginia that have been published by the Supreme Court of Virginia that have defined what misuse of office is. All right, I'm going to ask the people in the 35th if they feel like this is a misuse of an office, of his official capacity. Yes, the law has not passed. Okay, I get that. The law has not passed, but it has caused a panic. You're here. I'm here. Instead of being at home with my wife and kids, I'm sitting in Fairfax. Okay, it has caused a panic, and Senator Salazar has to be made accountable, and the rest of them do too. Okay, because it's not just him. Louise Lucas in Portsmouth she's the author of Senate Bill 64, which may make it illegal to do certain trainings just amongst your family and friends. They are talking about if I sell a firearm private party that it's going to come with a felony penalty now, which is not the case. What they're saying is felon, 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 felon. That's what they're trying to do. All right, and what I'm going to say back to them through partnership with the Libertarian Party, not the Republican Party, the Libertarian Party, they're the ones that have stepped up here. I'm going to step back and say, you're going to produce bills that are constitutionally valid when you produce them. I may not like them, but they're not going to tell us that 100,000 people, 200,000 people in Virginia are going to be felons if we don't follow your rules. Okay? You're not going to do it. And then when the state freaks out, you're not going to say, oh, I really didn't mean it. Okay? There's consequences. And Senator Salazar has to pay a consequence. Now, the 35th district is like this, about 100,000 people in it. 75% went to Hillary Clinton in the real big election. Okay, so I mean, it's a big, heavily district thing. So if you live in the 35th district, you're going to mostly find Democrats. All right. However, this is not a Republican and a Democrat issue. So if you're going to canvass and you're going to be a part of this, this is not a issue of the Republicans, the Democrats, the Libertarians. This is an issue that these elected people are not leaders. Okay, they are not leaders. They are representatives, and they represent everybody, not just Bloomberg's money. They represent all of us. And you do not represent the Commonwealth of Virginia when you recklessly file a bill that says hundreds of thousands of people in this state will become felons simply because they purchased something legally that we don't like. All right? I'm not taking a position if I like AR-15s or not, but I'm not going to tell somebody that purchased something that they should be a felon if they don't give it up. And that's where I stand on that. Okay? So, we are at 1,000 people watching. 972 people are watching this. So, we're here in Fairfax County in the Devil's Lair. I will tell you this, the Libertarian Party has 100% signed off on this, not just to help, but to fund. And many of you have asked me, how can I donate? I'm not asking for any money. I don't want any money. I have plenty of money. I don't need your money. But we do need money for costs. Okay, so if you're motivated to donate, do it to the Libertarian Party of Virginia, not the Libertarian Party. Okay. okay? But the Libertarian Party of Virginia. Make sure you go to the right place. They're the ones who are going to be funding this, all right? After this, I have a list of other people that have proposed bills that are blatantly unconstitutional, and they are next. So if we can get this one moving, we're going to go. Now, here's what happens. We need 4,000 signatures. All right, that's the number. 40,000 people voted in the last election in Saslaw's district. So we need 4,000. The Libertarians know what they're doing on these things. If you need 4,000 signatures, you need 6,000 signatures. You need really about 7,000 signatures probably, because about 70% are good, 30% are bad. All right. So we need 6,000 or 7,000 people. So I'm going to need people here who can sit in front of the DMV. I need people here that are willing to go door to door to get people to sign these petitions. If you live in the 35th, I need you to sign these, obviously sign the petition if you want to, but your one little signature is not enough. All right. That's what we need. If we can get it, we go there, right there. We file it. And then what happens from there is the Commonwealth Attorney has to prosecute the petition. All right, so I don't get any say in it after that. The Libertarian Party doesn't get any say in it. The Commonwealth Attorney prosecutes it, and then it's up to the courts and all that to figure it out from there. All we can do is walk in the door, and that's it. And then it goes. It's a government thing from that point. Is it fair? Is it right? That's the rules, and that's as far as we can go. This petition will have to be signed in person. It cannot be signed by mail. It cannot be signed by fax. It cannot be signed in any other way than in person. So if you're going to be a petition signer, you have to sign an affidavit that the people sign the petition in your presence. All right. So that's the other part of the rule. The petition also has to be signed under the penalties of perjury, which means that the person who's signing it swears that they live in the district that they are signing the petition in, and they've read this petition and they believe it's factually accurate. Okay? The petition needs to be corrected because I was the organizer. It is now going to be the Libertarian Party of Virginia. So I need to correct that, and that's why you can't sign it today. That's why I said we can't sign it right this minute. But what I've done is on the Facebook page, there is a link, and you click the link, and you can add your name to an email list. Once I get all your emails, I'm going to send out an email to everybody, and I'm going to say, do you live in the 35th? Yes or no? And if you do you want to sign this petition? You say yes, Libertarian Party is going to send people to your house to get the petition, and whoever else you can have that, get your neighbors over there and all that, okay? If you say no, but I want to volunteer, then we're going to get you linked up with them, and you're going to be going door to door. How quickly can this happen? As quickly as we can get the signatures, we file it. The senator will have 5 days. That's it. 5 days to respond. After those 5 days, the court will have 10 days to set a hearing. So this will go fast. This can happen before they go into session if we can get moving. Okay? And that's it. Questions?
Question. You have to be a resident and a registered voter.
That's right. That's a very good point. You have to be a resident of the 35th, and you have to be a registered voter. Not a Democrat or Republican, but a registered voter.
Can you register after the fact? Or is it
I think you could. I think the law says you have to be a registered voter. I think as long as you're registered, that's fine.
Go out, register, come
Yeah,
back
you
and
did
sign?
not have to vote in the 35th general election. You just have to be a registered voter in the 35th.
If you're petitioning in front of the DMV, you can send them in to get registered. And then
That's right.
Well, that's actually
That's right.
not a bad idea. Do
That's
it in
right.
conjunction.
That's right. As we keep talking, does anybody object to me panning so that everybody can see how many people are here?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna pan here. If you don't want to be in it, then step back. So let's see. All right, Senator Saslaw. These are all people that live in your district that are mad. Any other questions?
So how do we facilitate people that we know that are in the district to be able to get to you and the right?
Yeah, so again, get on that email list. So
Okay.
when you're done, it's right there on my Facebook. You know, it's the only way we communicate is by Facebook here, right? So you go on there, you click the link. I own a gun shop, by the way, just so everybody knows, in Virginia Beach, and we're at 1,000 views, 1,000 people watching live right this second. We have so it'll look like it's my gun shop because it's actually how I do business with the gun shop. It's through Constant Contact, but it'll say defensive tactics on it. I've separated this from that. You just have to go on there, put your name in, and we'll do that. And then what I'll do is, if you say you're good with that, once I get the Libertarian people to sign the petition, because there's, this is a political party, certain people have to sign it. Then we're going to start circulating it. Okay.
The best way is to send them to your website and have them directly say, "I'm a registered voter."
Yeah. Just first go on and just get on the email list, and then I'll start sending it out.
So when we go door to door, we have to tell them you need to go here in order.
Oh, no. When you go door to door, you're going to have this petition. It's going to look just like this, with a pen, and you're going to tell the people, "Hey, this is the deal.
Sign it if you want.
Sign it if you want to be a part of this."
So basically, us going around will be the signature from them,
Yep.
and then turn it over to the
Yeah,
Libertarian Party.
and then you'll come back with 30 signatures. You'll sign an affidavit that you got the 30 signatures. You're going to hand it off. Come on.
It has to
So
be
everybody see this guy.
notarized, doesn't it?
It does not have to be notarized. It has to be signed under the penalties of perjury, but it does not have to be notarized. Okay. Now, the person who is collecting the signatures, that will have to be notarized. Okay. So if you're the petition collector,
That's what I mean.
Yes,
Back before
yes,
you turn in
yes.
your petition.
yes,
So
but
we
when
have
you're
30 we have 30 signatures. Those 30 signatures will be
And it's dead
notarized
easy
by
to
me.
become a
See, I bring in
notary
30
in the state of
signatures.
Virginia.
Those 30 signatures will be notarized by me.
your signature is notarized by you, saying that you collected them. That's it. You don't have. We're not notarizing the petitioner signatures,
But
just
the 30
yours.
signatures will go towards the 4,000.
Yes. That's right.
Them to sign up.
Yep.
In addition to door to door, will there be any events where like people can all come all to a centralized area and sign?
Yeah. So here's the deal. So Libertarian Party's right here. Okay, this is the chair of the Northern Virginia Libertarian Party. I know you probably saw me the other day say I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not anything. Okay, I'm right here in the middle. All right. They're the guys that have stepped up. They know how to do this. I am a lawyer. All right. I'm not a politician. So we're going to take leads from the Libertarian Party. So when you go on my list, you're going to be getting communications from them. They're going to be taking that charge. Okay. My job is the legal side of it, drafting these petitions and letting people know, with the 500,000 people that are watching these videos a week. That's what I'm doing.
And in fact, if you don't mind,
Sure, go ahead.
Just like to say, so of course, the state of Virginia, as most governments around the country, they don't often want to recognize the Libertarian Party as one of the big parties like the Republicans and the Democrats. So they place a whole bunch of hurdles in our way. One of those is constant petitioning for ballot access. We have to do that every single election cycle, whether federal, state, local. We have to be out there, boots on the ground, door knocking, going around collecting those signatures just to get on the ballot. They mean this as a hurdle, something to throw in our way. Over time, we've come to see this as actually a really good thing, because it forces us to get out there each and every cycle, boots on the ground, door knocking, door to door. We have gotten good at it, and in fact, in a perverse sort of way, we love it. That is something that we've come to really think that the other two parties have lost a lot of. They've lost that door-to-door, neighborhood-to-neighborhood handshake. Yep, and that honestly is how you get things done. If you're to actually look at the opposite side of the political aisle right now, with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and others, they actually, to their credit, they disrupted their little system by doing that door-to-door knocking. They burned through the soles of their shoes, pair after pair after pair, going around door to door, doing the same things that we now need to do and can do. So that is something that thank you very much for putting this together, and thank you for the Libertarian Party of Virginia, the state level, for allowing this to happen. So together we will make them listen. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
So, yes, awesome. Listen, I couldn't be more happy with the turnout. I mean, you all are here. Thank you so much for that. I'm sorry if I don't respond to you guys on Facebook. Obviously, when you get 250,000 people engaging, it's a little hard to do that and have any other kind of a life. But thank you so much. You're going to hear from me with this petition very soon. When you get on the email list, I'm going to send out an email tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. I'm going to let you have time to get home and do your thing. I'll send out an email tomorrow and say who's in the 35th district and who's going to sign this. And then I'm going to pass that on to the Libertarian Party. They're going to make arrangements to come there and make it a signing party at your house. You have friends, neighbors that live in that district, get them there, okay, so that we could have 20 people sign it right there on the spot, okay? And that's what we're going to do. And if we can get this done, and then the Libertarian Party, I'm going to tell you this, they think they can do 2,000 a week, okay, with their network. 2,000 a week. So that means 3 weeks. You know, got to take a little off for Christmas and all that. Nobody's going to want to go door to door on Christmas Eve. But you know, probably maybe by the 10th of January, we're going to hit this. Okay, if we can get the people out there, and if we hit it by the 10th of January, we're going to have them in there before they go into session.
When do they go into session?
20th.
The 20th?
Yeah.
Lobby day.
Lobby day.
So the 20th is.
Before Lobby Day.
So now I will also say this from my perspective: if Senator Saslaw comes out and says Senate Bill 16 is dead, all right, and we're not going to do anything like it, I'm not going to push it any further. Okay, that's just so you know, that's where my heart is. I'm not trying to ruin this man's life or his career, and I'm sure it wouldn't if he got recalled. But my point is I just want the representatives to represent all of us, even the ones that didn't vote for them. That's all I want. That's all I'm looking for.
What if he says he's not going to go forward with it, and then we drop it, and then he goes forward with it?
Yeah.
We're right here. We're right here.
He has
got
no
an
credibility.
email
Has
list.
no
We're right
credibility.
here. We're right here. I don't think he's going to apologize. I don't think the governor's going to apologize. All they're doing is ramping up the rhetoric instead of calming people down. That's all they're doing. I don't think that they're. I don't think that. I don't think that they can have the ability to check their ego and just calm down. I don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, you know, for maybe the Libertarian Party will continue on, but I will probably back down at that point personally for me, just so you know. I'm just looking for them to say, look, they won. I get that. I know you won, Senator Saslaw. If you are watching, I know you won. You get to change the laws. I'm not going to like it. We're going to fight you in court like we're supposed to, but I'm not going to fight you in court when you tell the people they're going to be felons until a judge changes that around. We're not going to play it that way, all right? Pass your laws, let us fight them in court, and do it like we're supposed to, all right? Without people losing their livelihood, possibly going to prison, leaving their families. We're not going to play that game. And for the rest of you politicians that are watching it, if you even think about pushing anything like Senate Bill 16 up, you're next. Okay, you're next. I'll organize something just like this everywhere else. All right, I'm going to cut the live stream for the 900 people still watching. Thank you, Tim Anderson. Get on the email list even if you're not up here, because I have some other jurisdictions I'm coming to already. We're going to do some of this right now.